What's up guys, it's Pliskin here, and today we're going to be talking about cut weapons from the Metal Gear Solid series in the form of a top 5 list. So jumping right on into it, in 5th place we have the MP5 SD from Metal Gear Solid 1. Now, while this gun is included in the Japanese only Metal Gear Solid Integral Edition, it is not included in the American release, so the majority of players that probably watch my videos have never gotten their hands on it in Metal Gear Solid 1. This gun was to act very similarly to Resident Evil 3's AR or Metal Gear Solid 3's EZ gun. Basically, if you selected very easy mode, Snake would start with an integrally suppressed MP5 with infinite ammo, making the game pretty much a cakewalk. The gun essentially behaved like the FAMAS from Metal Gear Solid 1, where you would just spray it into enemies and it would chew through them. However, it wouldn't alert anyone in the area. So you could essentially just run through the entire game, spraying this endless upon endless amounts of ammo into enemies, killing everyone in a room, breaking every stealth puzzle, and yeah, just making it a cakewalk. Personally, to me, that doesn't sound as much fun as, traditional Metal Gear Solid 1, where I'm balancing out the SOCOM, which is suppressed, with the FAMAS, with the PSG-1 and C4, and all the other weapons together to create a stealth action experience. I feel like with this MP5 SD, that would just become the dominant strategy, and the game would just be a lot easier, but still, I think it would have been pretty cool if we got our hands on this gun. In terms of why this gun was cut, I simply don't know. Why would you give this to Japanese audiences yet deny this feature to American audiences or Northwestern audiences? Yeah, I really don't know. In fact, there was a lot of stuff cut from the first Metal Gear Solid games that we never got to experience from this Japanese-only Integral Edition. And if you guys want a video on that, go ahead and let me know in the comments. But without further ado, let's move right on. Now, coming up in 4th place, and this is gonna sound a little weird, but bear with me, the M4 from Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, you might be thinking, Pliskin, what do you mean? The M4 is pretty much right in your face throughout the entire gameplay experience of Metal Gear Solid 4. And you're right. However, what was cut was the fact that all of the enemies were supposed to use the M4 as well. If we look back at this trailer from 2006, you can see that both Snake and the enemy soldiers are all using the same gun. A configuration of the M4 that comes with a flashlight and an EOTech optic. This EOTech optic was also cut from the game in place of, more standard looking red dot sights versus ACOG scopes. Now, a while back I made a video talking about how Metal Gear Solid 4 would have been better off if they used less weaponry. However, this trailer makes me think that maybe that was the original intention. Maybe the M4 was supposed to be that one rifle that everyone used, similarly to the AK from Metal Gear Solid 3, or the FAMAS from MGS1, or the M4 from Metal Gear Solid 2. This was supposed to be the combat assault rifle that you found throughout all the game. But anyone who's played Metal Gear Solid 4 knows that all the enemies pretty much use the FN SCAR Heavy exclusively, and other enemies use stuff like the G3. It's like a battle rifle fest. Everyone's using a 308, so maybe the original intention was to have Metal Gear Solid 4 be like a mainline 5.56 type of game, like where everyone's using a 5.56 rifle, but somewhere along development, I guess Kojima or someone else in the company was like, hey, why don't we throw a bunch of battle rifles in here? And that's kind of what happened. So yeah, maybe this isn't a cut weapon in the traditional sense. However, this is still a huge portion of the game that was changed, cut, and moved around into the package we all know and love today. Alright, moving along into number 3, we have the FAMAS in Metal Gear Solid 2. Now, in the demo disc of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, when you're playing through the tanker chapter as Snake, you can kind of modify or get to the debug menu and find a fully modeled and functional FAMAS that you can use. If we couple this together with the fact that when Snake talks about the tanker incident when you're playing as Raiden in the plant chapter in the full game, footage of Snake using the FAMAS from Metal Gear Solid 1 shows up, indicating that maybe this assault rifle was supposed to be in the game. Now, was it something that Snake was supposed to bring with him onto the tanker, or was this supposed to be the main assault rifle of the game and they changed it out for a more traditional AK-74 and M4 combo? Did the FAMAS end up not having a place within the sandbox? Was it too redundant? I've talked before, a lot before, about how the tanker is one of the best balanced missions simply because of how the USP and the M9 tranquilizer gun play into each other's strengths and weaknesses. If you threw a FAMAS in there, it would kind of throw all of that off. Still, I think it's pretty cool that you can have access to the FAMAS, even if it is through a debug menu, and even if it is buggy as hell when you try to use it. It's a nice little glimpse into what could have been. Alright, now I'm kind of cheating with number 2, but again, please bear with me. Going back to Metal Gear Solid 4, have you ever wondered why there aren't any bullpup assault rifles? I mean, you have an SMG bullpup like the P90 and bullpup snipers. However, you don't get stuff like the FAMAS or the Tavor, the AUG. And I was wondering about this for a while because this game does not hold back on the weapons it features. It's not worried about having redundant weapons or a clean sandbox. No, MGS4 goes with the philosophy of more is more. So I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that the reason Snake doesn't use bullpup assault rifles in the game is because during the CQC animations, bullpup rifles would continuously clip into Snake's body throughout development. Now, whether the developers were lazy or if they ran out of time and money, they just didn't really patch in another CQC animation or fix it enough where the rifle would not clip into Snake, but for this reason, we don't get any bullpup rifles within Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, as a little bit of a bonus and honorable mention, a predicted bullpup rifle that we could say had a really good chance of being in Metal Gear Solid 4 would have been the FN-2000 bullpup assault rifle in 5.56. Now, if we go back to 2005, to the announcement trailer of Metal Gear Solid 4, we have this little spoof skit between Snake and Raiden, and Snake is dressed up as Sam Fisher referencing Splinter Cell, and wouldn't you know, you have a fully modeled FN-2000 on Snake's back. First off, let me say, this gun looks cool as shit. Running in Snake Eater's engine with those graphics. It's aesthetic, I love it, it's modeled correctly from what I can see based on this like low pixel footage. It's cool. And obviously, yeah, I get that this was a spoof making fun of, or at least nodding to Splinter Cell, but at the same time, the developers went through the trouble of modeling this weapon, and couple that together with the fact that this was modeled for a presentation surrounding Metal Gear Solid 4's release, and maybe this was supposed to be a very prominent rifle within Metal Gear Solid 4. Maybe this was supposed to replace the M4. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 does go for that futuristic, borderlining on sci-fi tone, right? So the FN-2000 would fit perfectly with its weird kind of tactical tuna aesthetic. Like, the rifle almost looks alien-made, so it would be perfect for Metal Gear Solid 4's dystopian future setting, you know? Or maybe through the game's like unlock system where you can put in a bunch of cheat codes to unlock different outfits and stuff, this was supposed to be a bonus weapon that really did just nod to Splinter Cell. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 featured an Altair costume nodding to Assassin's Creed, so maybe something like that was in the works but then got scrapped. Either way, it would have been really cool to see the FN-2000 and other bullpup rifles within Metal Gear Solid 4, but main reason, at least the main stated reason, is it just didn't work with the CQC, and because CQC was a big part of Metal Gear Solid 4, had to get scrapped. Alright, coming up in our number 1 spot, we have another scrapped Metal Gear Solid 2 gun. This is the ever so cool SPP-1M. Now, I'd never heard about this gun before because of how obscure and niche it is, but this is a Soviet-era pistol designed in around 1971, and it fires small steel darts. It's double action, and it has 4 different barrels that are breech-loaded with these darts, and it's meant to be fired underwater. It has a range underwater at around 17 meters. Like the FAMAS, you can access this within the demo disc debug menu, however there's no model for it, so Snake is just shooting an invisible gun. However, let me say this again very clearly, this is a Soviet diver combat pistol. This implies that originally with Metal Gear Solid 2, there were supposed to be underwater combat sections. So all those areas where you're swimming through the big shell, maybe we were supposed to go against like Gurlukovich Guard's combat divers. How cool would have that been? Maybe we would have had to like fight off sharks or some shit like that. Swim in the Hudson Bay. This gun would have been awesome, and it's so unique. Again, before doing this research, I never fucking heard of it, and I spend my time, my free time that is, looking up obscure guns and learning about them. So a breech-loaded 4-barreled mini dart pistol would have been amazing and opened so many more opportunities for Metal Gear Solid 2. And I mean, in Metal Gear Solid 3, we get the option to shoot from underwater, but it's kind of, you know, you just have the AK and you're going underwater and you're shooting your AK. This would have been something specifically designed for underwater combat. Now, if you've watched this channel before, you know I have a thing for when guns or games balance their weaponry in a way that gives each gun or whatever weapon it is a specific job and a specific place where it should be used. And this would have been a prime example of that. A gun specifically for all of these underwater sections. Now, I personally enjoy all the underwater sections in Metal Gear Solid 2, the puzzle aspect, the finding different things, the navigation, but if there was combat involved there, ooh, that would have been really fucking cool. And that's why I had to put this gun at the #1 spot for the awesomest cut gun in Metal Gear Solid history. Alright, with that being said, that's our list for today. If you learned something new, or if you really enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. I make videos talking about games like Metal Gear Solid and the guns within them all the freaking time. If you have some information of a cut gun that I missed out on, please put it down in the comments below, because I found it really difficult. Like, if you look up a game like Resident Evil, for example, and you're trying to find all of the cut guns in that, there's lists upon lists upon lists, but with Metal Gear Solid, it's so difficult to figure out what was cut and why. And it takes a lot of talented people digging through files and then posting them on wiki pages. Then I go through and sift through it all, but it's still limited in comparison to other games. So if you know something about cut Metal Gear Solid weapons, again, let us know down in the comments below. Either way, this has been Pliskin. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.